How come you got a field of dreams out here in Central California?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and people have said, if you build it, they will come. And we kind of did and stepped out into faith, and we built one. We had one sand court to begin with, and that came about through just we had a son that went away to college. He was in his freshman year, had been training with the men's volleyball team at Limestone College in South Carolina, and over Thanksgiving break got into a car accident and lost his life. So the plan was for him to come back. He wanted to come back and coach with me and eventually take over the program at the high school. And we had a friend that had a court that he ran some stuff out of. So the idea was to have Landon come back and run camps and clinics in one court. And we had a little bit of land over there. We'll put one court. No, maybe we could do two. Maybe we could squeeze two in there over there. And then so his life ended. And that's when I was just out in the yard one day. This was our garden and a bike track that he had built. And it's like I looked over here, and it was kind of like a dream. Everything slowed down. It was warm. It was sunny. I could hear laughter, and I could see the courts, and I could see people playing. And then I had to go back into the house and tell Mrs. Noah, I think God wants us to build sand volleyball courts over here. She's like, well, if it were you telling me that, I'd tell you you're crazy, but if you think that's what God wants us to do, then we're going to do it. So we both had to have at least a little bit of faith to move forward with this. And so we started with one court, dropped off 4 truck and trailer loads of sand, the most affordable sand we could buy, which is the fill sand. It's dirty. When people come out, you guys have the dirty sand. Yeah, well, we got sand, and people come out and play. Then we went to 4 courts, and then we still had his bike track up, and it was hard taking that down, but now we have the 6 courts. We'll call it 6.5, because at the end there's we call them the little lizards. So this is in honor of his life, and there's a scholarship in his name that we've been able to give a $1,000 scholarship to graduating high school senior every year. We've given out over $10,000 in scholarships now. And then just the volleyball community, we've met so many people and built so many relationships just because of this. Had got into contact with Ron Nelson, Pup Daddy, with Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And so we've, except for last year, we've ran a FCA sand camp. We have over 100 athletes over 4 days and do Bible lessons. This is our ministry. So we know if we put God first and honor Him, He'll honor us back. And it's been, the blessings back have been just magnified.
And even Landon Scholarship Fund, it was, we learn from things that you benefit from or that you've experienced that just mean a lot to you. And when Landon was a senior, he received several local scholarships. And one of them was from a local person that was actually an alumni from the high school. And Landon just said, he was so touched by that. And he said, someday I would really love to be able to give a scholarship, and when I'm able to afford it, and do the same type of thing and really give back. And so when he passed, it was obviously a very tough time for us, but in transition of knowing where do we go from here, that was very obvious to us that he wanted to do that. And so we said, doing a scholarship in his name, this is what he wanted. And so the Landon Guglielmana Memorial Scholarship Fund is what we started. And kind of having the same things that he had. We wanted someone that was very outgoing, very involved in their community. If they had church relationships as well, and also, academically doing very well in school. And so that kind of flourished to making connections with those students, which brought things out here, because then we had a tournament that would benefit for that every year, and that's the Italian Stallion Open. Landon kind of called himself the Italian Stallion, being the Madera South Stallions and Guglielmana and the Italian names. So we started the Italian Stallion Open, which benefited his scholarship. And so that was kind of a connection out here. So when people come and play in that tournament, we said, now you're a part of giving back to students and their lives, and continuing on with their futures and what they plan. And again, all coming from an 18-year-old kid who just wanted to give back to others. And so it's been hard for us as a family, obviously going through what we went through, but I don't think at any point we ever said like, why us, or why him? And it was something that we kind of embraced, like, God, what is your purpose in this? And what is it we're supposed to do with this? And so, like Steve said, a lot of things that have come about out here, plans that we had that we thought were the plans that morphed into this. And then when we see kids coming out here and we tell a story, because this is all came from the faith of an 18-year-old, and just the things that have come from it, the lives that have been touched, that continue to be touched. And it's like, why not us? Why not him? And so his life had purpose. This has purpose. And even like the little Sandy Landy that we have, the little lizard that's on some of our logos, our VBS at church one year had that as a little logo. And we ended up with this big cutout because our kids got we were so lucky for them to get their names drawn and have all this fun stuff, to bring out. And that became our little logo out here. And so we named it Sandy Landy after Landon, and that's now become our little logo that we use. And just everything out here has some type of purpose, some type of meaning.
A lot of Easter eggs that you have to
yeah, a lot of little things that you find. I think, with our academy and what we're doing out here, we want this to be all inclusive. We don't want it to be, Steve has said this many times.
when we have tryouts, it's not us trying you out, it's you trying us out.
Yeah. This is what we're about. We are God first. In the meantime, you're going to learn volleyball, and you're going to have these relationships you'll never forget. But we always tell them at first that it's not a club. This is not an exclusive place where if you can afford it, you can be here. This is an academy where we're all here learning together, and it's focused on God. And we want to make sure that there is no financial part of this that keeps people from being a part. That there is no area of where you live that makes you okay to be a part of this or not. And
our indoor teams aren't tied to any high school.
Any high school.
So it's easier to keep your step back and take a look at the big picture.
Yeah, I think last summer when we ran our beach academy, it was when everything was shut down with COVID, and we didn't know how many kids we were going to have out here, and it was just twice as much as we thought. We were quite overwhelmed by it, had to split things up into multiple sessions and nights just to accommodate and still keep things very health conscious. But just that in itself, we were looking at, I think we had anywhere from like 37 to 40 different high schools that were represented out here. And that was just amazing to us, to just say.
Yeah, 7 different school districts, and
yeah.
So.
And it's been that way just about every year. So that's our point, is just we want you out here.
Yeah, we say this is Triumph Volleyball Academy, not Triumph Volleyball Club, because we're not exclusive, we're inclusive.
Yeah.
Well, when you go through stuff, it's like you got to remind other people not to pray for strength, right? Because you'll have to go through something to go through the trial in order to grow stronger. You don't just gain strength; you have to go through the furnace. So, but it's definitely been a test, but it's easier when you focus on God. I got this. I got this. Just focus on me. Just keep coming. Just keep coming.